In this section of the Quick Start Guide, we're going to be building an assembly. But before we build an assembly, we need to have some parts to assemble together. So I'm going to review the part creation process. So click on New, choose a part, and click on OK. I'm going to choose a sketch. I'm going to start that sketch on the front plane. And here it is, starting a sketch. Now I'm going to choose a rectangle tool. So I have a bunch of options for rectangle tools. This one's a corner rectangle. This is a center rectangle. I'm going to choose center rectangle. And I'm going to start right there at the origin. I'm going to draw out a rectangle just by clicking and dragging. I'm going to use my dimensioning tool. I'm going to dimension it from the top to the bottom and then place the dimension over on the right-hand side. I'm going to type in 2 inches. I'm going to do exactly the same thing here, but instead of adding a dimension, I'm going to add what's called a relationship. So I'm going to click on this line here. I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard and choose this line here, and then click on equal. That way, both this line and that line are both equal. They're both 2 inches long. Let's go over to Features, Extruded Base or Boss. Let's type again 2.0 and extrude that shape out to 2 inches. Now I've got a perfect cube. Now I want to continue building on there. Like I told you in the beginning, to start a sketch, you need to choose either a face or a plane. Now, I already have those 3 fundamental planes right here, but I can also choose any one of these available faces now. So I'm going to choose this face right here. I'm going to start a brand new sketch on it, and I'm going to choose the circle tool. I'm going to click on the space bar so I can see directly on that face. And then I'm going to start my circle right at the origin, which is that little red triad at the center. I'm going to add a dimension on my circle here of 1.0 inches. And notice it changes size to that 1.0. Click on OK. Now I'm going to extrude that shape out. So I'm going to go back to Features, Extruded Cut, and I'm going to type in 1.0. Click OK. And now I've continued to build onto this shape. On the other side of this shape, I'm going to do a hole and cut into this part. So I'm going to click on this face here. Again, start a sketch. Click on Spacebar. Click on Normal tool, so I'm looking straight at that face. Again, I'm going to draw a circle. Here's my circle, starting at the origin, drawing it out. I'm going to use that same 1-inch dimension. And this time, instead of doing an extruded base or boss, I'm going to do an extruded cut, which does exactly the same thing, but instead of adding material, it's removing material. This time, I'm also going to be using the 1-inch dimension, so it's going to be cutting into the part here, and then click on OK. So just that easily, I've now cut a 1-inch hole into the part, and I have a 1-inch peg sticking out the far side. I can then apply some material to it. Maybe let's call it 1060 aluminum, and then go ahead and File, Save As. This time I'm going to save this one into my exercise files folder, and I'm going to call it 2.2 and click on Save. Once I have that, now I can create an assembly from this part. So go up to File, Make Assembly from Part. Notice over here on the left-hand side, it gives me the option of the available open documents. That one I've already chosen is pre-selected. Click on OK, and that's going to take that part and it's going to bring it directly into your assembly. This looks a lot like the part modeling window, except that the ribbon bar up here has changed. Now, instead of having modeling tools, we have assembling tools. So under here, we have assembly, we have layout, we have some sketch tools still available, and so on. But what we need to do is get a couple more parts into the assembly. So first things first, let's take a look at the available windows. So if you go up to Window and click on Tile horizontally, you'll see that here's that first part 2.2, and here's my brand new assembly. Now I can just do what's called a drag and drop. So I can click on this part here and just drag that part into my assembly. Do it again. Very easily, I have 3 parts in my assembly. Now, if I click on any individual part, I can click and drag it and move it around. Same thing as this one over here. Or if I want to rotate a part, if I right click on it, I have the ability to rotate it around in 3D space. Now, the original first part in the assembly does not move. It's fixed. So whatever part you start your assembly with is automatically going to be in a fixed state. The other components are going to be able to move over to it, but this one will not be able to be moved. Okay, now we're going to mate this together. So mating is the process of creating relationships between the parts to define where they are located in space. We're going to be going into this in a lot more detail throughout the course, but first things first, click on the mate tool. There's a bunch of options here. I'm just going to choose the individual faces that I want to create mates between. In this case, I'm going to choose the outside of this peg, and I'm going to choose the inside of this hole. Notice those two slide together. Click on the green check mark, and now these things are mated together. Notice now I can slide it forward and backwards, but I can't move it right or left. It's always going to be concentric to those two circles. Now, if I want to say this face here and this face here, those slide together, and now I've defined another mate. So there's two mates now, and this part can now only spin. So normally you need about 3 individual mates to fully define where a part is in space. Same thing over here. Let's do it one more time. The outside of this peg here with the inside of that hole right there, that slides together. Click on the green check mark. This face right here with the back face here, and click on again on the green check mark. Now these parts are mated together. Again, when you're happy with your mates, click on OK or the green check mark, and now you've got a mated assembly. Now we can continue adding more components in. We can create new parts. We can create new assemblies of assemblies. There's a lot we can do, and we're only scratching the very surface. The point of this video is to show you the basic process for creating a part, starting an assembly, and then bringing and mating components together into the assembly. And hopefully you now understand the basic process.